Hey guys, and welcome to another season of the Ask People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and in this season, we uncover the remarkable power of genuine compassion and insightful vision. This season, we're here to show the world that we, as individuals, are the brand, regardless of misconceptions. Join us as we go deep into the inspiring journeys of our guests, each one a testament to the impact and influence of kindness and creativity. Don't just take my word for it. Hear their stories, feel their passion, and discover the transformative potential within us all. So stay tuned as we shine a light on the truths that connects us and inspires change. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Ask People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today I have a friend here with me, but for a special reason. His name is Nathaniel. He is an award-winning entrepreneur and international speaker. He's also a pilot, an engineer. He does so much. He is the CEO of the Safety Box. Nathaniel, I want to thank you so much for coming on the Ask People podcast. How are you?
It's always good talking to you, Savia. I mean, this is a girl that actually rocks. She does. She rocks up anywhere all the time to just basically get the stories and soul back really to the community. So it's a pleasure to be with you again, Your life is filled with purpose, and I respect anyone that has purpose as a focus, and so yeah, thank you. It's good to be back with you again.
100%. So Nathaniel, if anybody doesn't know what you do, I've said 100 things already with a list of things that you do, but I always say the title doesn't give depth to who a person really is. I want you to tell me in your own words who you are, where you grew up, and how that influenced you to be the person who you are today.
Well, do you know what? Who I am is, I'm a person with a great faith and belief, right? And that is a foundation to who I am as a person. I grew up in an area of North London known as Tottenham at a time when it was really, really not a great place to live for black young people in particular. There was a lot of issues with racism. I was a child of the 1985 riots where the police actually killed somebody, Joy Gardner, and that sparked riots. And there was riots in Brixton, there was riots in Tottenham as well. And I was a child of all of that growing up. And the racial oppression that was happening was so serious at the time that individuals looked at black boys as a certain type of person. Yes. And when I went into my secondary school, I reckon my teacher was actually racist. And as a result of all of what happened, in the area, gang crime started to kick off, all those things started to happen. I began to get disengaged in the curriculum. I ended up failing my maths. I ended up failing school, really. And I had to hustle my way into college. It was shrouded with a whole load of things, a lot of road things that were going on at the time, man, them on the roads doing the thing, carrying the shank and all the blood and all those things. And, I was on the periphery and part of that growing up, but I had to get out of that, because of this mindset my parents put into my heart from when I was young. Don't let anybody tell you can't achieve anything. So I literally hustled my way into a college based off of my friend's enrollment letter. I sat down in the A-level physics line because I wanted to be a pilot. With a fake gold cap tooth and my eyebrows marked up and my pattern hairstyle and my trousers down low and the chaps rings and all the rings on my and the chaps on my hand, I queued up in the A-level physics line, looking like someone that shouldn't be on an A-level in physics, and I'd failed my exams, and the man said to me, you ain't got your GCSEs, gonna have to repeat them. I got up and I walked around and I'm thinking, there's people dying in my community, friends are dying, it's either going to be the roads or it's going to be college. My dad said, Nathaniel, unless you're not getting to college, I'm going to kick it out to the house. So my dad had already put his position saying, look, I don't want no trouble coming to my house. And so what happened then was I then believed God spoke to me, said, go back. I went back, I queued up for another hour. Man said, you ain't got the grades, you're going to have to beat GCSEs again. And I got up, I walked around again, and I thought, let me go back again. And I went back again, Savia, and the man was there, and again, he said to me, you haven't got the grades, you're going to have to repeat your GCSEs. And the woman sitting next to him was Anita, the head of the physics department. And what she said is, I've seen you come back 3 times. Anyone with that level of drive, anyone with that level of determination, and anyone with that level of discipline to come back over and over again, I'm sure we'll be able to do A-level in physics. She sat as the head of the physics department and also was inside of the board, senior management, and she wrote a letter for me, enabling me to get onto 2 A-levels. To cut a long story short, I went to university. I did a lot of stuff when I was younger, like learnt martial arts and everything when I was a young person, growing up in the ends. When I went to university, I was teaching, coaching people martial arts, getting paid to do that. 5 people, turned into 20, turned into 30 people, each paying £5 an hour. That was £150 at 18, doing a 1 hour class, and 2 hours was £300, and it went up and it built. And, I saved my money, got through my degrees in engineering, and then I went over to America and I qualified as a pilot. And, my story really is a story that I think was given to me because of things that went ahead of me. For example, maybe prayers that went ahead of me.
Yes.
I believe it was faith that helped me to get through. And that's something that people don't have these days, which is faith. A lot of people don't have hope. A lot of people do not have that thing that is invisible and believing that they can have it. And this is my purpose, is really providing hope. And so once I came out of aviation, I went into really looking at how I could help young people and support them. So for the last 20 years, I have been busy at my social enterprise, which is known as the Safety Box, impacting the lives of young people. So we've had a measured impact of working with over 30,000 high-risk young people and well over 1,200 high-risk offenders in prison, helping to change their mindsets away from criminality, lifting them out of the darkness, putting them into the light, and giving them purpose in their life so that they can have a better future, stopping the killings, stopping the murders, but helping them to engage in employment and also in education post our interventions, with significant results, whereby we worked with Cure Violence and SOS in 2012 and reduced the violence in one of the most violent youth prisons in the country by 96% in 1 year. That's never been achieved ever since. And with this model, we have basically ensured that we can take it to the next level, and we will be able to provide individuals with a future that they can be proud of.
You know what, Nathaniel, even going back to the beginning of your story, I always believe angels come up in the most desperate of times when we need them the most, and we don't realize that they're there. When you told me about the lady who watched you, and even before we started recording, we spoke about something very personal, in the sense where sometimes it is better when a person observes but doesn't say anything. Sometimes when a person observes and doesn't say anything at all, they are the one to give you the pathway and the key to where you need to go. They are like the gatekeeper. There are people who have keys, the gatekeepers, like the gentleman you were talking about, who didn't necessarily want you to do what you were destined to do and have a purpose in doing, but she opened the door for you. So because you had that opportunity, that installed something in you to later on in life help people to do the things that they do, to see opportunities, to seek the goodness within inside themselves, and decide to say, I'm not going to be like the statistic of everybody else, and I'm going to do something different. So sharing your story of literally just that, even before we get into the second question, is an abundance of goodness and positivity, because it's going to help people to understand, no matter the background of where you come from, who you are, how people judge you. And I always talk about judgment, because judgment is one of the things in life that either pulls us forward or pulls us backwards, because we're always trying to decide whether or not we're doing right by people, when really it's about having kindness for ourselves to do right for ourselves. You've already done that. You have ultimately already done that. So my second question for you is, can you define who you are as a person? But Nathaniel, who do you see when you look in the mirror? But on the flip side of that question, has there ever been a time where you have looked in the mirror and not recognized the person staring back at you? How did you manage to go from a person who didn't necessarily believe that they had purpose to a person who became strong enough to understand that belief, hope, and faith, to understand what purpose is?
Yeah, and so, that's a really deep question. But I know that you're a deep person anyway, so you're gonna pull out the deepness of everything. How do I define myself? I define myself as a man living his life in service. And you see, service is powerful. The greatest significance in this life is not found in the house you live in. It's not found in the car you drive. It's not found in how much you may have or own. The greatest significance in this life is found through service.
Yes.
And the thing is, a lot of people think that service means lack. It doesn't. Because if you need a haircut and you're providing a service of cutting the hair, you're going to be in profit.
Yes.
So this mindset that you're going to give, right, and not get, is a fallacy. The greatest power is to give. And when you have the ability to give, the return is in abundance, because you're living and walking in purpose. You don't need to chase things anymore, but in fact, you're living within that. The time I'd say that was challenged was a very traumatic time of my life. When I basically was fighting for my son in court after a very painful divorce and separation. And my whole psyche and my emotion was impacted as a result of the mental health crisis that I went through. Because if a court would say to me, I can't see my son, even though I haven't done anything wrong, and say that you could be put in prison as a result of that, that effectively, if I went to go and see him out of the contact time, where many men struggle with this.
I've seen it in abundance.
And,
I have.
And that was one of the lowest points of my life, where I actually I actually peeled away to say that I am nothing. And this is the lowest points. But it was through incredible prayer, faith, incredible people, individuals around me, and the Most High that got me into a place where my light was not dimmed, but my light came back stronger. And so much stronger that when I was almost dying from COVID-19 in hospital, that it was that same power, that same strength, that same light that I tapped into to help me to get through, so I can talk to you now. They were wheeling people out of the ICU. But you know what? I'm grateful for the breath in my lungs. And so with my breath, I'm not going to waste it. With my body and what I can do, I'm not going to waste it. There's two defining moments in this life. The moment you're born and the moment you find out what your purpose is. It's not even when you die. It's the moment you're born and the moment you find out what your purpose is.
I'm so glad you corrected that.
Because there is two positions of being born and dying. Basically, you have to make sure that the space in between is not empty. And so that is my sole purpose, is to make sure that I fulfill my purpose to the absolute. I don't want to live in regret. In fact, you should never ever let your dreams become a regret. And if you do, that is going to be a negative thing towards yourself. And so the well-being of yourself, drinking the water every day, 2 liters before 2 p.m., getting to bed on time, waking up early so your brain is healthy. This is the care you give to your body. And so the service is not only to others, but you have to serve yourself, because if you can serve yourself and make yourself full, then you're able to give. The problem with people that serve is they don't look after themselves. And that's why I'm saying, fill yourself up, serve yourself too. as well as serving others. So that's what defines me. I would say it's a life of purpose and a life of service, but not service without profit. It's about profit with purpose.
Now, I know we have something really special to talk about. Definitely. And this is why we're here today.
Definitely.
So Rhythm of Hope is a fundraising concert.
Definitely.
I am not going to articulate myself in speaking about it the way that I know you are so passionately. So please tell me about it. Tell me how it even came up, why it matters to you.
You know, why this matters to me is that, you know, hurricanes hit the Caribbean region every single year. You know, it happens around about the same time. Some years it's worse than others. Some years it hits the national news, but most years it destroys the lives of the poorest people that live in the most rudimentary, iconic, in fact, zinc houses. Now, Hurricane Beryl was a hurricane that happened last year and ravaged the whole Caribbean. The estimated damage in the island of Jamaica was $203 million US dollars. That is equivalent to about 159, well, it depends on the exchange rate, 159 million pounds. The government of Jamaica has tried its best to try to help to rebuild the lives, but in the portion of the southern part of the island known as St. Elizabeth, that has had the greatest impact, whereby people are still struggling even for electricity. People are still struggling even to get houses. They're still in temporary accommodation. They haven't got their houses. Now, that compounded impact of the hurricane was further than given more trauma on top of it and greater loss because candles started a massive fire. Why were candles used? Because the electricity was still down. So you can see this domino effect of disaster that has happened that destroyed 20 acres worth of land, farmland destroyed, houses and homes that have been rebuilt destroyed, poor people without food, poor people without clothing, poor people without sanitary things for the girls when they're going on their periods, you know, issues with so many different businesses that have gone down and gone up in flames. This is the reason why we're doing this concert, because those people, even though they have had these things happen, and many of them have got faith, they do have a hope. And that's why we have said, let us do something that is going to help them significantly. Let us have a concert and let's call it the Rhythm of Hope. And so what I did is I convened a meeting with 2 government ministers from Jamaica as well as diaspora leaders. The word diaspora means, it's a Latin word, it means those who have dispersed. And I convened this meeting and we collectively came up with an idea that we would definitely hold a concert in June and we'll make it a regular concert. So this will be the first of many, because each year hurricanes hit the region and then we do emergency fundraiser concerts, emergency things. No, we want to put it inside of the year every year so that it doesn't have to be an emergency.
Exactly.
But we have the funds ready just before the hurricane season starts. And so this is why the Rhythm of Hope exists. We're partnered with the largest charity in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, known as Food for the Poor.
Yes.
They're 40 years old. They've been going for over 40 years, and this is going to be their 43rd anniversary on the 15th of June. And this is fantastic. You know, it combines so many different things. You know, when you're looking at the day before being Grenfell Tower anniversary on the 14th, where we're looking at Windrush, which is a week after it, you know, it's a significant time in June that the entire community can come to this concert. And you know, this isn't just about entertainment. This is about impact.
This is what I love about it. The most beautiful thing is bringing people together as one. And I find that music also does that as well. And I know you have a song. So guys, when you listen to the podcast or you watch the podcast, you're going to hear the song in the background, which is going to be another beautiful thing. And it tells you about exactly what this is all about. And this is why I love. So please tell us where people can buy tickets, be part of this, or even if they want to volunteer and help in some way, Nathaniel, please tell us how they can do that.
100%. This is all about connecting online firstly. So they can go to the website www.rohja.org. For example, that's Rhythm of Hope. All right. So rohja.org. They can access it via the Woolwich.works website as well, because the tickets are being sold through Woolwich Works.
Yes.
They can connect to us on email. There's so many opportunities for people to get involved. Whether it be vendors that want to vend, you can email us at marketing@rohja.org. If it is a sponsor, all levels of sponsor, we're calling still sponsors on board, because the more sponsors we can get, the better we're going to be in raising the money for the charity. And so sponsorship starts at £1,000, but it can go lower. So do reach out to management at rohja.org, and you will be able to get the information if you want to sponsor. Starts as low as £1,000. It goes right up to £10,000 if you want to be a legacy supporter. I want to big up some of the sponsors that have come on board as well. Victoria Mutual, they help people to get house savings. If you want to know how you can save into a mortgage to buy your house in the Caribbean, you can start with these guys. They do very well. We've got also Bloomer Hole Capital, an investment firm from Florida that is also jumping on board. And if you want to have capital investments, you can put your money behind them, and they will be listed on the stock exchange, where you can get revenue and get your interest from that. Also Jamaica National Money, JN Money is on board. We've got Campbell Swaby Law on board. We've got Bowman Law on board. We've got partners like My Grocery List JA out of Florida on board. The Safety Box, my own organization, is partnered with this to deliver this. We're going to have young people volunteering from our programs. These are youth at risk again. So it's a wide community type of concert. I've got a meeting with even prisons. We even want to get people that are inside to understand about community service, understand about fundraising for a particular cause. And so I've had a email come from them saying that 6 London prisons will look at creating something for the concert and I've got a meeting next week to actually discuss the details of all that. But HMPPS to be on board for London prisons again is a massive thing. There's conversations that happen with the Black Award, who have really partnered with us to help this thing move forward. UK Black Things is on board. Jamaicans Inspired is on board. We have got endorsements from the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kamina Johnson-Smith, who's left a quotation for us and has endorsed it. These things are all about fundraising, and with the international musicians that have also jumped on board. For example, the award-winning gospel international artist Donnie McKirkland actually gave a shout out for the concert.
I love that.
And then also international dancehall reggae star Wayne Marshall also gave a shout out for the concert. And it just shows the diversity in music style, from dancehall to gospel. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a reggae gospel concert, soul stirring event. Starts at 5:00 till 7 for the VVIPs and the general public. Between 5 and 7, the concert begins at 7. We'll finish and conclude around 10:00. We've got a couple of Jamaican artists coming. We have some artists from the UK that are going to be performing. And so this is going to be a really nice night. The tickets start at £20, go right up to £150 for the VVIPs. So if you want to get that special experience as a VVIP, you're going to get a second showcase. So you're going to get 2 showcases, because we've got live PAs that are going to be in the VVIP area. So if you want to get your ticket, get the VVIP ticket. You'll be right at the front. You'll get opportunity to take a picture with the main acts from Jamaica. You'll have the opportunity to plug in and hear other talent, where we'll have a live PA that will be there with multiple artists performing as well for that too, and also cooked food as well. Ooh. Vegetarian options are there for the vegans and vegetarians. You've got the meat and you've got pescatarian fish meals as well, and it's all with a Caribbean flavor. So get ready for your jerk this and jerk that, because you're gonna have it. All right, bless it. Listen, we believe in a round holistic experience. And so we want people to enjoy themselves, understand the purpose behind it, and really aspire to contribute to this incredible initiative. I am actually the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council representative, and that's part of the reason why I had the ministerial support, because I'm an advisor to the Jamaican government. But this is something which I'm doing as a passion project alongside some incredibly special people. Cheryl Palmer, former person from the Financial Times, Michelle Hines, former finance director from London Symphony Orchestra, Marie Coley from formerly at Meta, formerly at AEG Group, Paula Powell, some key people who are in Cato MBE, Evadne Campbell MBE, Jermaine Morgan, Niall Ferguson. There's some real influential people that are involved in this organization of this concert. For the day, we're actually going to have Messenger Band, which is Luciano's band, a really powerful reggae band that's going to be performing there. But I'm not going to reveal the artist yet. The artist is soon to be announced.
I'm going to find out afterwards.
Yes, but I can tell you though, I can tell you some of the UK guys. We've got a former winner of The Voice that's going to be performing. Not going to say any names. We do have also someone that is signed to a United States record label that's going to be singing as well. And so, the level is very truly international, and so I'm looking forward to it. So you can buy it. Please do buy your tickets. They're gonna go soon. As soon as we get those names out, I know they're gonna sell fast. So make sure you reserve yours now.
See, this is what I like, guys. Everything in life is about support. The more we support each other, the more that manifests back to us. But don't do it out of because something's gonna go back to you. Do it because you actually want to do something to help a community, because in life, we all go through challenges and circumstances that sometimes we have no control over, and we need help. So this time we're asking for help. We're asking for you to give what you can and also help when you can. Nathaniel, before we even get anywhere near to the end of talking to you, I want to know a bit more about you, because one of the things that we spoke about was judgment and language having power. So the first one I'm going to ask you is about, when did you realize, for example, that language had significant power in your life for you to be able to do what you do and help have this purpose?
Well, I mean, there's an attitude that I was taught as a child, that your voice matters. And I was always told, Nathaniel, speak up. Yes. All right. And that's what my parents always said. And so I've always had this as a child growing up, to be able to speak or be able to present or be able to talk. I've done further types of professional training around the forms of and how to communicate, understanding how to access the right hemisphere, understanding about body language and how to use body language. And so understanding this concept that is actually a spiritual law that says the power of life and death is in your tongue. Yes. I understand that and I live that properly. So I try not to speak negative words, because words have the ability to change the molecular level of even water molecules. We are 70% water. Yes. So when you speak negative words, there's a professor by the name of Dr. Emoto from Japan who did tests on water, and he had 2 bottles of water. Mm-hmm. And you see what he did is they put one in darkness and spoke negative words to. For example, they would say Hitler, evil, I hate you, you make me sick. And on the other one, it would be love, gratitude, prayer, singing, songs. I love you, I care for you. Imagine, guys, you can research this yourself, all right? I'm not kidding you. Dr. Emoto, I'm telling you the truth. Mm-hmm. And what they did is they froze the water crystals at the end. When they froze the water crystals, the ones which were disformed, disfigured, looked horrible, was the words that were spoken that were negative. The ones which formed beautiful water crystals, looking through the lens of a microscope, looked fantastic. They looked amazing. The pattern formation was so beautiful. Now, if you're speaking out negative words through communication, yes, or non-communication, because that too is a form of communication, you're damaging people on an internal level.
Even more so.
And even so, you're damaging yourself when you're speaking the negative words back into yourself.
Yes, I agree.
So words of affirmation is something that I've built into everything which I do. For example, on my top it says aspire higher, names of one of our projects. When we are talking the safety box, everything is to keep you safe. That's good. It's safe. People feel great when they're safe. People feel open when they're safe. And so when we're talking to men unpicking their minds in prison, they're broken, we use the words of affirmation. No longer say words that are defeating you. For example, if you say a word like I have to, is I have to powerful or is it?
It feels I have to feels restricting.
Of course it's restrictive. You don't have to do anything. You choose to do stuff. And people will say, I don't know, I'll try and do that, or I'm going to try to do this thing, but they don't understand that the word itself is disempowering. For those people that are watching, all right, look, I'm going to put my phone on the table. I'm going to say, Savia, try and pick my phone up. Try and pick my phone up, please. So, no, you picked it up. You actually touched it.
Yeah.
No, but that's touching it.
I said try.
I said try.
Well, I could try to, but I won't get there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. There's no power in try because you actually touch it and you had to touch it. You had to touch it. You had to pick it up. And so you understand that this word try is a negative word. When you're saying I'm going to try and do this, I'm not going to try and do anything. Imagine you're trying to invite, I don't know, to the guys or the fellas out there or whatever your preference is, right? You're trying to get a girl to come on a date with you, right? And you say to her, hey, do you know what? Do you want to go to the movies with me at 7:00? And then she'll go like, I don't know, I'll try, maybe. Is she coming? No, she's not coming. And so our words are powerful. And so we destroy ourselves and we destroy our purpose. We destroy our ability to achieve. We destroy the motivation behind us because of the words that we speak. And so words are powerful, but we've been lied to for so long,
through manipulation of different people, different things, and social media now. Social media plays a huge part in how we feel about ourselves.
Definitely. And I'm even going to go deeper than that. I'm going to go to nursery level. We've been lied to. London Bridge is falling down. What kind of negative words is that?
Then you might as well go to Bar Black Sheep then.
Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Listen, even in the language people use, go and break a leg. What? Listen, the words that we speak are destructive. That's true. So we have to think about words that uplift because it has an impact on you on a molecular level.
Yes.
When you start to say words of purpose over yourself, your emotion starts to lift. And so I understand that. And once I understood that, it helped to determine my life. It helped to determine how I live. It helped to determine my attitude. It helped anxiety to leave. It helped all of these things that oftentimes pull people down and sink them. And so understanding all of that and having a divine faith and knowing that your words are actually spiritual is really important. And so I ascribe to that thinking.
So this is what I like. So the next one I go on to, which tallies into what we actually just spoke about, is judgment. Judgment is one of the things that can either, like I said before, hinder us as people or push us forward and propel us into saying, I'm not going to listen to what other people are saying and I'm going to do what I am meant to do in my life. But when did you realize in your life, what would you do differently, I should say, Nathaniel, if nobody was actually judging you and you took away the word judgment from the dictionary, it didn't exist? What do you believe you would have done differently in your life?
I think righteous judgment is good. I think negative judgment is bad.
Yes, I hear you.
So the righteous judgment, I wish I listened more to.
Okay.
What I mean by that is righteous judgment is something that goes against what is morally wrong.
Yes.
So, for example, the deception that many of our broken men have and boys.
That's a good one to talk about.
Is that they believe it is their right to take a life if they are violated through another gang.
You know what that also comes down to? Vulnerability.
It does. It does come down to vulnerability. And you're speaking to somebody that does extensive work in the space.
Yeah, 100%.
And the concept of judgment can never, ever be upon those people like that. We work with murderers. We work with people that have committed serious offenses. We don't judge them. We see beyond that.
Yes.
And that's important, that you don't judge people, because the same measure of judgment that you're going to put on others, you know, you're going to be judged by that yourself. So you're not meant to judge anyone. However, I think that maybe judgment's the wrong word to use, but aligning yourself with what's right and not what's wrong is a good thing. Just because everybody else is doing it, it doesn't mean it's right. And I think that doing what's right is the greatest thing. And when it was difficult for me was when I chose to go against the negative thing that was happening to me.
100%. I do understand.
And I was being judged by doing the positive thing. But it goes down to this fundamental principle. Just because everybody else is doing it, it doesn't mean it's right.
It's like finding your purpose. Sometimes finding your purpose is a sacrifice, meaning that you have to go in the path by yourself.
Definitely. And the thing is, you have to sacrifice who you are for what you can become. This is known as growth. And even if I was to draw a circle now, and I'm going to call this circle a comfort zone, you're comfortable in that place. But you see, when you need to step outside of that space, what happens is you step outside, you feel a bit vulnerable, I don't like it out here, I'm going to go back to my comfort zone. But your comfort zone is stuffy. It's filled with people with negative energy. It's not good. And then you say, you know what, I kind of liked it out there. There wasn't much stuffiness out there. And you go back out again. It's like, I don't really feel so comfortable out here by myself. And you go back. And when you go back, you can't take the space that you're in. You're desperate to get out into the next space. When you get to the next space and you stay out in that space, you're comfortable in the outside space now. Guess what happens to your comfort zone? It grows, because now you've created a brand new comfort zone. And then what happens? The iteration of sacrificing where you've been before to move out to the other place now manifests. And now what happens is you are continually on a development of personal growth. And that is the key thing with all of this thing. Never, ever allow anyone to judge you on a righteous path. But judgment always has to come upon those that choose the unrighteous path.
This is the thing. One of the most powerful things my grandmother always said to me is, when God wants to help you, He will make you uncomfortable. Is to teach you. At a young age, I didn't always understand what she meant by it, because I was in my comfortable space. As I got older, and she would pull me into things, make me read out in front of people, make me speak in front of people, because I was a very introverted person. Doing the uncomfortable felt like I was being exposed. But that's okay. Being exposed is not a bad thing. It shows how powerful you can be and become. So like what you said, in everything you said is completely right. But the one thing we need to think about is not to worry about being by yourself. Sometimes the journey that you're on in life can be very lonely. We all have this. We all understand this. But when you're on it, you realize it's not just for your generations. It could be for many generations. And then the next question, which tallies into this also, is when I talk about legacy. Legacy, people feel that legacy is only when they've passed on and they leave memories behind. I don't believe that is true at all. Legacy to me is the way that we speak to each other now in the present. How we affect people, how that effect then gets passed on to another person. But in your term, Nathaniel, what does legacy mean to you?
Legacy is the ability, to have a positive impact in society. And that could be when you're alive, and it can even be when you're dead. For example, Martin Luther King still inspires people with his
100%.
speech.
Yeah.
Malcolm X still empowers people with his speeches.
Yeah.
So, and books, likewise, Maya Angelou still inspires people now that she's even dead. But you see, the impact that they had was when they were alive. And so it's about us being salt and light in the space of where it is dull, you're and tasteless, you're adding the salt. Where it is dark, you're adding the light. As you have the light, the darkness goes. And when the darkness goes, you have the ability to connect to another light source. When you connect to another light source, what happens is the light gets brighter. And you see that brightness then is what takes away the negative things in society. And so legacy is being able to disrupt injustice, is being able to loose the yoke of oppression of individuals. It's being able to help somebody up when they're fallen down. It's the ability to stop someone from committing suicide by helping them with the mental health recovery and unpacking the trauma. It is supporting the children to basically achieve success. It is making sure that the poor people get food and the orphans are fed and the widows are supported. It's making sure that people do well, right? If they need a little leg up, you give them the leg up. It's the importance of sowing money into people when they need it. And when they genuinely need it, it is the importance of doing those things. That is legacy. Legacy is having your name spoken in another room, and it is positive. Legacy is being able to walk into a room and the room is listening to you. Legacy is the ability to talk to somebody and they feel uplifted and don't feel smashed down. Legacy is being able to provide for those that are in your life so that they have a better future. Legacy is being able to aspire to inspire before you expire.
See, this is what I love when education comes out and people have the chance to give it freely so that people can understand it. And this is where I'm going to end the podcast because I feel that's a perfect place to. But before we actually leave and go, Nathaniel, I want to know, and especially for everyone else, where can people find you? Where can people support you? Where can people get involved in what you do? Please tell us where we can find you.
Well, people can reach out to me via my website. It is www.nathanielpeat.com. Quite simple, just Google my name, you'll find me somewhere. I'm on all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, kind of on TikTok, but I'm not really. The safety box is on there, but you know what I mean? I can be found and, connect with me if you're interested in getting involved in the concert. You can reach out to me or the website that I gave before. If you want to help with the safety box, which is empowering young lives, reach out directly to the safety box, www.thesafetybox.org. But if you want me to speak, if you want coaching, if you want any life coaching, anything like that, they can reach out to me on www.nathanielpeat.com. My wife is also a life coach and a professional executive coach, and so she can do that as well. And so Katonio Kate, she also does live one-to-one coaching with individuals. So this is an opportunity for people to plug in. As I always have lots of different quotes that I use and I live by these things. Opportunities are never lost. They're only given to other people. So what I say to you now is, if you've enjoyed this podcast, take the opportunity. It's an invitation to connect with me. It's an invitation to grow. It's an invitation for you to be inspired, motivated, so that you can ascend to higher heights in your life.
Guys, and this is where I will say to you, remember to support Rhythm of Hope. You can get your tickets, like Nathaniel said. They start at £20, I do believe. Then you go to 25, then it goes all the way up to £150. Please support. Please come and be part of something that is special, that will have also a legacy to do that. And this is where I say to you guys, thank you so much for listening to the Us People podcast. Please remember you can subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and any other platform that you prefer listening to. Please also follow us on the Savia Rocks website, on the Us People podcast website. And the most important part, before I even say thank you to Nathaniel for coming on the show, for showing his kindness, compassion, his vulnerability of who he is as a person, and just bringing me to allow me to be part of this, because that in itself is a beautiful thing. So thank you so much, Nathaniel.
Bless you. Back to you, Thank you. Thank you. Definitely. And we got, you know what? I think this is an amazing studio as well,
Yes.
MK Cypher. This is an amazing place that we're in, podcast, and we got to big up everybody.
100%,
and so,
I agree with you.
This podcast has been brought via, MK Cypher Studios, and it's amazing. Savia rocks definitely, and she's here,
as always.
but she's definitely a powerhouse of wisdom and knowledge and deepness, which connects with people at another level. So bless you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. And guys, this is my last quote for you for the day, which is, thank you for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another. Take care.
Society has made me want to validate me from my illusion that awaits me, from how the people will perceive me. It's my illusion that awaits me. We fight our war with ourselves. Our mental health is silencing us from our heart. Social media is taking our time from connecting with each other soul to soul. Why we dance on TikTok, strike a post on Instagram, fight the world on a Twitter feed, link a thing on Snapchat. Why we dance on TikTok, strike a post.
Can I get the footage for this, Michael? Our back's like 100. Is that all right? More, bro. Come on. It's a charity fundraiser, innit, bro, man? Come on, man. Oh, come on, bro. It's a charity fundraiser. Come on, man. Because we just wanted audio. You put this on top, You put it out into the atmosphere, bro. You put it into the atmosphere, cuz. You put it into the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying?
Look in that camera and we'll see what you say.
We need a discount, right? So
Cha-ching.
if it is free, it needs to come down to 100, because this is MK Cypher helping the charity fundraiser.
That's fair enough.
That's why we're doing it. And we need sponsors. We need more sponsors. We need to try to reduce the amount of money that's been spent so we can help the people. This is about poor people. You understand what I'm saying? So like, those people that used to live in the zinc houses, those zinc houses,
Wow.
those houses have been knocked down. Right, and you've got children that are displaced, living in churches and living in community centers, and they haven't got anything. They are displaced completely, and they don't have sanitation for the girls. Can you imagine being on your period and you ain't got nothing?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine losing all your clothes? This is the reason why we're doing this. It is literally for poor people. We are going to be building back the house, and I've got a great partner, Victoria Mutual, that has said that they, in fact, will be able to support us by, if we send £100 down, they will absorb the transaction fee, meaning that the people will get £100. That is significant, because oftentimes when you're sending money, this is a problem, this is an issue. All right? Have I spoken enough to the camera?
Why we dance on TikTok? 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 Why we dance on TikTok?
This summer, it's more than just music, it's a movement. Join us on Sunday the 15th of June at the beautiful Woolwich Works in Greenwich for the Rhythm of Hope concert. A night filled with reggae, gospel, unity and purpose. Experience unforgettable live performances from top reggae artists across Jamaica and the UK, bringing you uplifting sound, powerful lyrics, and island vibes that will move your body and stir your soul. But this isn't just about good music, it's about making a real difference. We're raising vital funds for food for the poor, helping provide hurricane relief and rebuild homes in Jamaica after devastating fires. So when you show up, you're sowing into something bigger. Doors open at 5 p.m. Concert starts at 7 p.m. sharp. Grab your friends, your flags, and your dancing shoes. This is one you don't want to miss. Tickets available now at www.woolwich.works.
You know what I'm saying?
www.woolwich.works. Book now before it sells out.
It's so fast.
This event is proudly presented by Global Jamaica Diaspora, South UK Reps and Friends, in collaboration with the Safety Box, My Grocery List Jamaica, Black Things UK, and Black Awards. Sponsored by Victoria Mutual, VM Groups, JN Money, Blue Mahou Capital, and more. On Top Radio. Come and hear the music. Stay for the mission. Live with purpose. Feel the rhythm. Share the hope. Be part of something powerful. Rhythm of Hope.